Come and knock on our door.
Yes.
We've been waiting for
Joyce DeWitt, Suzanne Summers, Don Knotts. It's Three's Company. These are the post-John Ritter Three's Company episodes. He left the program to pursue an acting career, movies, television, to other outlets. It's Three's Company. It's not Malibu? Oh, gosh, it is New Orleans. They're telling me it's time for the Neutral Ground program. With, who's the host of this show? Oh, me. Wow. Yeah, you right. Thursday afternoon, New Orleans. Thanks for finding us on the radio. You're in the right spot. Oh, so fine. 93.9 FM. Oh, so fine. 93.9 FM. We're on New Orleans' own 107.9 FM. 600 AM is a sneaky little powerful AM signal. 600 AM from Baton Rouge. Through southern Mississippi, through southern Alabama, into the panhandle of Florida. We're on Cox Channel 4 television throughout Louisiana. We're on Spectrum Channel 333 television throughout Louisiana. If you're a Cox TV subscriber, Cox Channel 4. If you're a Charter or Spectrum television subscriber, Spectrum Channel 333. KaareTalks.com, our website, live streaming there. Check out the program, KaareTalks.com. Hey, we're on YouTube, our fledgling YouTube channel. Let's build it up. Click to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Send the link to a pal. Have them do the same. The Neutral Ground with Corey Johnson on YouTube. Coming up in about 12 minutes. Former NOPD chief, now Loyola criminal justice professor, Ronal Serpas will join us. That's at 4:20. You'll want to stick around for that because the 6 NOPD chief semifinalists have been revealed. Today, tomorrow, this panel, and we know who's on the panel, they're interviewing these 6 semifinalists. Reportedly, they're going to give a list of 2 or 3 names, kind of pare the list down from 6 to 2 or 3. And the mayor will choose a candidate. The council will vote to approve or not. If not, the mayor will put up another candidate. Ronal Serpas, former NOPD chief, former Nashville police chief, former state police chief for Washington. He's going to join us and get a unique perspective that only he can give us. Yeah, this NOPD chief search. You know, the thing about New Orleans, it's like the Louisiana legislature with all this trans stuff and having a special session and crowds pack the House and the Senate citizens because it's such an important issue. We have to go above and beyond. It's ironical, but a good comparison's police themselves. When a policeman gets shot or is the victim of a crime, you're like, my God, that's a crazy criminal. It's a policeman. They're special. And a criminal is going to shoot a cop. What does that say about us? We're really vulnerable. And then the opposite's true. You're telling me a cop committed that crime? They're special, held to a higher standard. They committed the crime. It's worse than a citizen committing that crime. New Orleans and its dysfunction, we have to be extra good. We have to do a great job. We have to go above and beyond. We have to be above reproach. Super clean, hyper clean, not connected. No sense of impropriety, no sense of an agenda, something going on that's not right, hiding something less than transparent. This is New Orleans and Louisiana. We're terrible at all this stuff, terrible at it. Cannot trust anyone. It's like Morris Bart with the, working for the DA's office and suing the city. As I work for the DA's office, I work for the state, not the city. You know, these silly legal technicalities that are meaningless for a lawyer who's trying to make some legal point, but perception's reality. Morris Bart works for the New Orleans DA, and he's suing the city at the same time. Those are the facts. You can twist it to, well, the DA is under the state, actually, not the city. The New Orleanians elected him. So, no, have to be above reproach. Can't have these excuses and, well, here's what it is. Perception may not look good, has to look good. The perception has to look great. And the NOPD chief search with LaToya Cantrell, it doesn't have that transparency. And then parts that maybe it shouldn't, you kind of don't know what's up or down or left or right or how to do it. Ronal Serpas does. So when we visit with him, we'll get a pretty good idea. I like this guest a lot. Like him, don't like him, think he was a great chief, horrible chief, whatever. Great perspective from this guy. And Serpas was a pretty good chief. Mitch Landrieu is the first mover on where we are today. Getting rid of Ronal Serpas, cutting back on hiring police. You know, we have a budget crisis. Let's take away from the NOPD and have a hiring freeze. I mean, Mitch Landrieu dropped the ball, and it's because Mitch Landrieu is a politician. I don't think Mitch Landrieu is corrupt. I don't think Mitch Landrieu sets up friends and family. But Mitch Landrieu worries about the political outcome instead of what is the best outcome. And cutting jobs and trimming government. And, you know, we're going to cut the police in New Orleans. Mitch Landrieu acts as if all fat was trimmed from that chop. It is the leanest all beef chop. There's no fat at all. It's streamlined. I mean, New Orleans city government, there's so many redundant offices. He could have eliminated entire offices, administrations, including directors, six-figure salaries. But those are appointees. That equals political power. That's about votes. That's the people that work there and their families and their votes. That's about getting reelected. Now, that's the only thing that I don't like about Mitch Landrieu. And I'm not talking if you like him politically or not, just as a politician, too much of a politician. Not independent enough. Worried about politics, next election, politics. How is this going to be looked at? What are the repercussions politically instead of, hey, it's the right thing to do. Let's go full bore and change New Orleans dramatically. Obviously, we're going to piss some people off on the way to doing it. Change is painful. New Orleans is very broken. It's going to be very painful as we move forward. Just haven't had that dynamic leader, and politics bogged down Mitch Landrieu, and politics caused Mitch Landrieu to cut off his nose to spite his face. We'll talk to Ronal Serpas about why we are where we are right now. It's from the Mitch Landrieu administration. And then it's LaToya Cantrell doing absolutely nothing. Total failure up to this point as far as fighting crime and the police department. Hey, the Seabrook Bridge is open again. You folks out by UNO, SUNO, FBI, the lakefront. Leon C. Simon is your route, or was your route. The Seabrook Bridge back open again, at least one lane. I don't know if you can enter it from Lakeshore Drive. I don't know if it's the left or right lane that will be open. If you can enter from Lakeshore Drive, if you can enter from only Leon C. Simon. But good news for a lot of commuters, because the next bridge over is like the high rise, right? From the Seabrook Bridge. Kind of crazy. Yeah, the Seabrook Bridge is open again, one lane each way. Used to be a lot of other, I remember some drawbridges that were, street level that were, they may only have the train now, a drawbridge for the train, but used to have a road, one lane going in each direction, very minor road, at least one drawbridge, if not more, along the industrial waterway, as it's now known, instead of canal. It's one of the greatest achievements in mankind's history. It's underappreciated. Proof's right in the pudding. 54 years ago today. And I don't see it anywhere on any major news sites. I don't see it anywhere on any major news sites. Not Fox, not CNN, CBS, NBC, ABC, nothing, nowhere. 54 years ago today, what? Man landed on the moon and came back safely. The United States, one of our proudest moments, one of mankind's proudest moments. 500 million people worldwide watching that. Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin. Underappreciated, an amazing achievement in mankind's history.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes are magazine, as unique as you.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
The French bread of the city of New Orleans. Good to the last crumb. Leidenheimer French bread.
River Cities. Total maintenance keeps you cool, New Orleans. NOLAAC.com is your cool spot.
Francesca Deli and Pizzeria has over 15 specialty sandwiches, a big 10-ounce burger, and some of the best pizza in New Orleans. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
When a young man comes in and they walk into our store and you can see they're a little intimidated. Last week, I saw the young man. I said, "Hey, what can I do to give you a hand?" And he said, "Well, I'm here for an engagement ring, but I don't think I'm in the right place." So I got him to my desk, and within an hour, he had purchased an engagement ring, had spent $1,000, and he was treated like he spent a lot more, and I'm sure we have a customer for life. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Fausto's Italian Bistro on Veterans Boulevard, where the brothers Fausto and Roland are serving some of the city's finest Sicilian and Italian cuisine. From New Orleans' first family of Sicilian and Italian cooking, Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets. Did you know Rouse's sells only Angus beef? Angus beef's natural marbling means more succulence and flavor. Whether you choose Rouse's USDA Prime, Choice, or Select, it'll be only Angus beef when you get it at Rouse's. Tastes like home.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com. He was Richard Pennington's number 2. He was the chief of the NOPD. He was the chief of the Nashville Police. He was the chief of Washington State's Police. He's a Loyola professor now. New Orleanian Ronal Serpas joins us live on the program. How you doing, Chief?
I'm great, Corey. How are you?
Good to have you again. Doing well. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Hey, you're familiar with police chief searches, applying for gigs, being part of folks overlooking searches. You're familiar with consent decrees. All this is very familiar with. I should say all of this you're very familiar with that's going on in New Orleans right now, aren't you?
Yes, sir.
Hey, Ronald, what do you think about the NOPD chief search in general? Was it done right? Should there have been full transparency from the beginning? Should there have not been? How do you think it was handled? And I guess also the group that was in charge of working it out for New Orleans, this Internal Association of Chiefs of Police, the International Association of Chiefs of Police. Do you like that group? Was that a good call?
There's a lot of things going on here. One of the things that makes this search different is that normally when a mayor engages a search firm, they don't signal who they want while they're executing the contract. Last week, while the mayor has been perfectly clear that she's already made what she thinks is the decision she wants, Councilmember Thomas and John Casbon, a well-known local business leader with a lot of experience supporting police, they both essentially echoed the mayor's comments in the news last week. What happens when you're a police chief candidate is you're reading the news, you're reading social media, you're talking to people on the ground, and when the word has been unrelenting that the council can't do anything about the appointment except confirm or not confirm, and that the mayor has made essentially her mind perfectly clear. And this has nothing to do with Superintendent Woodfork. You can't blame her for saying yes for an opportunity.
Sure.
But no, this is not a normal search in that the mayor's signaled from the very beginning that basically this has every potential of being a window dressing search. Let's make my person look better by comparison to the others. And, sometimes they will carry through with that, and mayor will, and sometimes they won't. But to consider that Councilmember Thomas and that Mr. Casborn, as recently as last week before the names of anybody was known, Corey, essentially through their own words and context, agreed with the mayor's opinion that the internal interim should be the choice, sends a chilling message to the officers of the NOPD. It sends a chilling message to the community that nothing's going to change.
And Michelle Woodfork is one of the 6 semifinalists.
Yeah, and again, it's always hard. I like to keep it above the personalities because I don't blame her for doing everything she
You're
can.
You're right.
However, one of the reasons you do a public search is so that the candidates can be examined by the public, Corey. And when you're looking for a police chief, and I've been the benefit of being selected, I've been the benefit of not being selected, I've been the benefit of helping in selections, here's what you look for. What has this person done their entire career? Have they worked in all the functions of a department, recruiting, budgeting, patrol, investigations? Have they gone to advanced training schools? Have they advanced their own personal education with a master's degree or a Juris Doctorate, or many of them now have PhDs, which isn't unusual anymore? That's what you look at. And many of these candidates who have applied and made it through this process have a very clear demonstrated record of trying to be ready. And I'm not sure that we see that in all the resumes. And as to the International Association of Chiefs of Police,
yep.
I was elected vice president of that organization. We have more than 40,000 worldwide members. It's been in place since the late 1800s. Their recruitment strategy business is to protect their integrity, that they're looking for the best candidates. You can't fault the IACP for the mayor sending the message long before the contract was signed that she'd made up her mind, and you only end up with 33 people in the country of 18,000 police departments, after reading all that, still let themselves be involved in the search. My point is this, Corey. High-quality candidates, people who really want to be leaders in law enforcement, looked at the behavior of the mayor, looked at the behavior that this decision was already baked in the cake, and my suspicion, they didn't apply. And here's one final fact for you. A city the size of 250, 300,000 people will normally have 100 or more applicants.
Wow.
The city of New Orleans had 33. Doesn't it sound like all the messages were sent that were necessary to end up with picking who you wanted? Coincidence or psychic phenomenon?
I said before you came on in my opening segment that New Orleans has to be above reproach. We have a bad reputation. We have to do it really clean, way above everybody else. And I think anyone that knows our rep, and then they did the slightest bit of investigation, and what you're talking about, the fix is in, they're running from that job. They're pulling a Jesse Owens and running in the opposite direction of as far away from that job as possible. And when you bring up facts like a normal municipality of 250,000 plus is going to have 100 plus applicants easy, and we get 33, it all speaks for itself.
It does, and it tells us that, sometimes mayors make choices you don't predict. For example, I was selected 3 times, once by a governor and twice by mayors. And in 2 of those 3 selections, none of which were in Louisiana, the head runner, the interim, was the leading candidate. And at the end of the day, the mayor didn't pick the interim. Let's see. There's always a chance. But I think you got to give Mayor Cantrell benefit of 2 doubts. One, she's never not been clear about what she wants to do, staying at the Pontalba, using cops to bring her all around the city with escorts in the middle of these terrible times. She's made it perfectly clear that she's going to want to pick who she wanted as the interim, but it's also not her fault that candidates who are looking to be a police chief know she's in the second half of her second term. They know she's term limited. And Corey, my experience as a police chief who was appointed with civil service protection, my experience with a police chief who was appointed at will, my experience with working with people who have contracts, the notion somehow or another being floated by some members of the leadership of the city that a contract is going to make this all better, simply just don't understand. No new mayor is going to let a personal services contract stop them from changing who was picked just 2 years earlier.
How do municipalities solve that problem that don't have an elected chief?
City managers, they appoint chiefs, and they use either a civil service system or an at-will system, or some departments have contracts. But all the contract does is ensure you'll be treated fair. And by the way, when the chief, look, think of it this way, Corey. If the station manager came into you and said, Corey, our station is suffering and we need to make a change, who's going to continue to hold out, right? So you see chiefs with contracts who will understand very quickly that if you lose the mayor's support, you're essentially not going to be productive and capable of leading. So why would you stay? Right?
Yep.
And the other thing is our cops are making $60,000, $70,000 a year. God bless them. But the notion that you would pay a chief in New Orleans who may or may not have any real demonstrated experience over $300,000 is the second half of that misnomer that's being perpetrated on the people in New Orleans. One, the contract really ain't going to make a difference in the long run. And 2, these young men and women who are working trying to explain how 8 years of political leadership have left them with very little, but I'm sorry, I'm 15 hours late. They're not going to see this as something that's positive.
Is an elected chief the only solution? Because it seems like the negative side of that, Ronal, is you're creating a politician in New Orleans and Louisiana where that's just a terrible thing usually. And second, it's limited just to citizens of the municipality.
I think a long time ago, I never agreed with that. But, there's a lot of cities in Louisiana that still have an elected police chief. And my God, how bad could it be if we tried something different?
Yeah, no, you're right. No, you're right. I mean, I don't know how anyone argues with that. Going in the wrong direction, just coming up with 0 all the time. How bad can it be to go in another direction? That works in some places very well.
It works right across the lake in Slidell. It works right down the road in Kenner. It works in cities throughout the state. Now, listen, I do think that what's really missing in this entire conversation is that the citizens of New Orleans, despite having 3 times to choose, continue to support this mayor. So why are we having this conversation?
No, you're right, Ronald. That's New Orleans and Louisiana's major dysfunction. We are champions of cutting off our nose to spite our face. She'd get reelected if she could have a third term. No, you're right. You're right. We'd go reelect Edwin Edwards, Alario, all these folks over and over again if we can. Where's Bill Jefferson? I mean, Morial, they'd all win again. You're right. You're right.
Well, we hope for the people. We hope the city to be safer. And, you know, the crime numbers that are looking a little better is always good news. But the truth is, too, if you have somebody waiting 12, 13, 14 hours for the police to come and they don't get there, that essentially disappears from the record, not by artifacts, but just by fact.
Yep.
They're not there. So the fact that crime is going down and shootings is pretty, it's good. You can count shootings and unfortunate deaths. You can usually find all of that. But at the end of the day, the people of New Orleans know. Look at the Crime Coalition report that came out the other day, done by citizens, paid for by citizens, not paid for by politicians. And it basically shows that New Orleanians have lost confidence and faith in the ability of this department to move forward, which is incredibly sad for the people who live and work in New Orleans, to include the men and women of the NOPD. They didn't create these, you know, P.O. Smith on the Night Watch, Corey, didn't create this waiting time problem. Detective Jones didn't create the problem that he or she can't call back victims and victims and witnesses because they have hundreds and hundreds of cases. None of those officers caused this to happen. The very people who were elected since going all the way back to 2011, who made not producing a recruitment and retention strategy over the long haul worthwhile, is what caused this to happen. And our young men and women face that in their face every day when they show up at somebody's house hours and hours late. Council member's not there. Mayor's not there. They're there.
Hey, Ronald, this is a tough final question. I don't know if you have enough time to answer it. How did we get here? Would it be, I blame Mitch Landrieu ultimately getting rid of you, letting you go, should have been retaining you, and him cutting, spending funding to the NOPD, the hiring freeze. I think Mitch Landrieu is the first mover of where we are today, 10, 12 years, 15 years later.
I think that's where the dominoes started on this one particular issue. And to be fair to Mitch Landrieu, he and I had tons of things we agreed on. We just couldn't get past this argument over staffing.
Yep.
But Corey, you can't let the council off. Remember, our audience, your audience, the way government works is the mayor proposes a budget. The council is free to do whatever they want with it.
Yep.
So every year that the administration, including Cantrell's administration, didn't make recruitment and retention not only a financial priority, but a political priority, the council is just as responsible as Mayor Landrieu and Mayor Cantrell.
Yep.
They voted these budgets in.
No, that's a great point. You're right. They control the budget. That's fair enough. You're right on the money. Mm-hmm. Hey, Chief, always a pleasure. Love your insight.
All right. Thank you. Have a great day, Corey.
You too. That's Ronal Serpas. Doesn't get much better than that. Always learn something when he's on the show. Corey Johnson with you on a Thursday afternoon. We're coming right back. Don't move.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamarck Automotive Complex, there's something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We do in all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience. Right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
For over 20 years, serving healthy, fresh, authentic Middle Eastern cuisine, Lebanon's Cafe. In the Carrollton section of Uptown on the streetcar line, Wednesday through Monday, 11 a.m. to 9:30. Lebanon's Cafe. For Leidenheimer Baking Company, producing the perfect French bread is more than a vocation. It's a sacred mission. And for 5 generations, they've used the same time-honored process, baking their signature loaf with its crisp crust and delicate center, unique and still good to the last crumb. From the finest French Quarter restaurants to your local po' boy shop, for over 125 years, New Orleans' own Leidenheimer.
For us, it's really relationships. And if you care about the relationship, you're going to do the right thing for the customer all the time. When we're in design process of a custom-made piece, I have a test that says, if I wouldn't give this to my wife, I think we should pass and start over. If it's not perfect, it's going back to the shop. We're going to start all the way over. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
1970 was an exciting time in New Orleans. The first Jazz Fest was held, the city hosted its first Super Bowl, and the first Helm Paint location opened on Earhart Boulevard. While the floppy disks, mood rings, and pet rocks may have come and gone since the 70s, Helm Paint has grown to become your premier source for quality Benjamin Moore products, competitive pricing, and personal service. Please visit one of our locations today and we'll meet our competitors' prices on any identical product. Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore, let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
When USA Today ranked the 10 best must-visit New Orleans restaurants for travelers, Mid-City's own Katie's made the list. USA Today says Scott Craig is chef-owner at Katie's, a much-loved Creole Italian eatery that draws armies of regulars for lunch, brunch, and dinner. A neighborhood spot where locals congregate and New Orleans-style hospitality rules. Indeed it does. Katie's in Mid-City.
Yeah, you right. Summertime in New Orleans. Corey Johnson with you. 95, and it ain't no jive. Feels like 105. River City's Total Maintenance is there for you. Every day we broadcast live from the Buddy Diliberto River City's Total Maintenance Studios. Honest air conditioning experts that come immediately. You may hear me say this and go, just talking a radio commercial about air conditioning. If you have air conditioning needs, your AC's not working right, there are lots of choices, dozens and dozens, maybe over 100 air conditioning companies, some small, some large, some gigantic. River City's Total Maintenance, over 40 years in South Louisiana. Sterling reputation. Don't take my word for it. Go to the Better Business Bureau. Go look it up. Google it. Sterling reputation, no complaints. Because Lucas is fair and honest, incapable of screwing you around, only going to do the service, repair, or replacement that's absolutely necessary. Absolutely necessary. He strung along this round unit when I bought my house. We called it R2D2, this old rusted out unit. He strung it along as he could, and then he's like, Corey, it's time for replacement. You know, it's not cost effective anymore to keep fixing it. So I got the whole new system from those guys. AC experts, they diagnose it right away. The last time I had a little minor problem, Lucas diagnosed it correctly over the phone. Go outside, do this, turn on your unit, okay. And because it's summertime in New Orleans, Lucas is a native. He's a native of South Louisiana. He knows our climate. He's an outdoorsman. When it's hot, it's hot. He knows it. He knows your inconvenience. They come immediately. 35 plus trucks, 35 plus techs. Honest air conditioning experts that come immediately. What more do you need? You need River City's Total Maintenance, NOLAAC.com. That's where you find them. NOLAAC.com. If you missed the first part of the program, you missed a lot. Ronal Serpas joined us, former NOPD chief, talking about the present search, and it wasn't a lot of positive coming from Ronal Serpas, like the fix is in, the mayor has her choice, and wasn't even getting into Michelle Woodfork. He was really diplomatic about it. He's right. I mean, can't blame her. She's just trying to get the job. But the mayor desperately wants her to be the chief. I'm not saying it's a bad choice. I'm just saying the fix is in and it's not right. And instead of a few hundred candidates applying, there were 33. So just not a good search at all. New Orleans has a bad rep. When folks looked into it, it looked like the fix was in. So legitimate candidates ran from this job, and it's a shame. So we're not going to get the best of the best. We're going to get the best that we're willing to apply for the crazy Chiefs job in New Orleans because of just a precarious situation. And then is the fix in, why waste my time applying? The mayor already has her choice. No, I think Ronal Serpas was right on everything he said. Everything he said. Boy, the mayor just doesn't stop, huh? The Office of Inspector General, Ed Michel, sending a letter to the city council. J.P. Morrell, Helena Moreno, Joe Giarrusso, Leslie Harris, Freddie King, Eugene Green, Oliver Thomas. Dear council members, the topic, by the way, Upper Pontalba Apartment. This is today, the IG to the council. Dear council members, on March 16, 2023, the Office of Inspector General released a letter concerning the mayor's use of a second-floor apartment unit in the Upper Pontalba building, which is owned by the city of New Orleans. The letter asserted that because the French Market Corporation does not collect fair market value rent from the current usage of the mayor's apartment, this arrangement, in the case of personal use by the mayor, gives the appearance of a donation of public property in possible violation of Louisiana's Constitution. Additionally, the mayor's personal use of the apartment is a possible grant of compensation in addition to the salary of the mayor authorized by city code and for which the city may not be making the required payroll deductions. The OIG recommended that the city relinquish the mayor's apartment to the French Market Corporation to collect fair market rent from the public. This would not only eliminate any further controversy concerning the use of the mayor's apartment, but would also ensure that the city would receive an additional $36,000 in annual rental income from the apartment. On April 20th, 2023, the City Council passed an ordinance that amended and reordained City Code Section 2-930. No immovable property owned or controlled by the city or by a public benefit corporation may be used for residential occupancy by a city employee or elected official, except upon payment of fair market value pursuant to a written lease. The use authorized by this subsection must be directly attendant to the performance of the mayor's office's duties or directly related to a city event or public purpose. Overnight stays shall be prohibited. In light of recent events regarding possible overnight stays at the mayor's apartment, the OIG requests that the city council re-examine the ordinance passed in April of 2023. As written, the ordinance does not appear to ensure that the city receives fair market value from the usage of the mayor's apartment. Additionally, the ordinance lacks an enforceable definition of what qualifies as, quote, an overnight stay. The OIG strongly recommends that the City Council adopt the recommendations included in our March letter and relinquish the mayor's apartment back into commerce, which would generate an additional $36,000 in annual rental income for the city. We have attached a copy of the letter for your convenience. Sincerely, Ed Michel, Office of Inspector General, Inspector General. And by the way, when he referred to the mayor's apartment, in the beginning of the letter, in parentheses, he had the use of the second floor apartment unit. In parentheses, he put mayor's apartment, just to make that the reference point for the rest of the letter. He's not conceding that it's the mayor's apartment and she gets use of it. He's saying the exact opposite in the letter. The exact opposite. Hey, let's head to the phone lines. Rouse's Markets phone lines are open. 504-766-9480. If you'd like to participate in the program, Rouse's Markets phone lines, 766-9480. Rob joins us in New Orleans. How you doing, Rob?
Hey, all right. I'm aggravated like everyone these days with the city. And just to make a comment on you talking about the mayor's misuse of the Pontalba, I saw something yesterday, and I'm sure you saw this, that the family of the teenager who was crushed by the falling live oak tree is suing the city.
Yep.
Now, that story hit the news yesterday, and I saw in all the, I look at all these different networks, all the local news and the paper had that story right next to the council going after the mayor for her misuse of the Pontalba. And to me, there's some really heavy, significant symbolism there. And that tree, they were warned, I mean, not that that's the mayor's job to be an arborist, but that tree was right in front of her, Pontalba apartment. You know what I mean? It's like, while she's basically partying and not paying attention, trees are falling on people. And I will say this, the homeless situation, and that's not her fault. That's been coming for hundreds and thousands of years, but you never even hear her talk about it, right? But I'm in the quarter a lot, and it's like Calcutta. You've got the arcades, like every arch in the Cabildo and the Presbyterian, there are people camped out. And I'm not saying there's any easy solutions for that, and that's not her fault. But some mayors would even at least talk about it or come up. So meanwhile, she's going to Essence all night and all week, walking past home and bringing her police escort up into the apartment, walking past homeless and trees falling on people. And it's like, you know what I mean? Anyway, I just thought that was interesting symbolism to see those two stories juxtaposed.
No, I think it is ironical. She's staying in this apartment illegally. At the very least, it's immoral, unethical. She's stealing, essentially, taking something for free. Everyone else goes and rents a place or makes the husband go rent a place, whatever. So she just has that belligerent entitlement attitude. And then, on her watch, this neglected tree falls and severely hurts someone. And then it keeps getting ironical, Rob. Morris Bart, who volunteers to help the DA's office fight crime, he's the attorney suing the city. So you're trying to help the city and you're the attorney suing the city. And then he'll say, no, I work for the DA. That's really under the state, not the city. So all of these are just parts of what New Orleans is.
I saw Morris Bart on TV, and he basically said that you'll never collect on a judgment like that or in like 15 years or something. I want to make one other comment about Oliver Thomas. It seems that, like, what Chief Serpas was just saying, Oliver Thomas keeps, coupling himself with the mayor. And I remember when it came out a few months ago, people proposing that the city should rent it and put the revenues in the city coffers. I remember hearing Oliver Thomas, and it might have been, I know he comes on your show. I heard him interviewed somewhere, and it was something like $35,000 a year or something like that generated. And he actually said, he goes, if $35,000 is going to make a difference, we're in real trouble. And I'm thinking, well, yeah, we are in real trouble.
No, we are. And it's every dollar counts, and it's the principle of it, and it all adds up. Rob in New Orleans, brilliant points. Thank you. I'm up against the break.
Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
For over 120 years, New Orleans' very own Leidenheimer French bread. The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
What actually lasts a lifetime? Not much, but at Helm Paint, we have something guaranteed to last a lifetime. Benjamin Moore's Regal Select. This paint and primer in one offers cutting-edge waterborne technology, smooth application, and long durability. Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore, your New Orleans paint store.
Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets has daily lunch specials Monday through Friday, and their entire lunch menu is available too. Open 11 a.m. through 2:30 p.m. For the finest in Sicilian and Italian cuisine, Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, it's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof. Now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anywhere. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
Being a part of people's lives, from an engagement ring to a wedding band. Before you know it, the wedding day is here and groom and bride are exchanging gifts on that day. And not too long after that, there's baby gifts to have. And I just enjoy being part of other people's family, saying, Mr. Friend did my engagement ring and he did my mom and dad's engagement ring. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
It's time to relax. The Woodhouse Day Spa, Metro New Orleans' premier day spa experience, now with 5 area locations. For a day of relaxation or maybe just a quick 1-hour getaway, the metro area's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa. And now 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and our newest location in Mandeville. The Woodhouse Day Spa, WoodhouseSpas.com.
From the owners of Katie's in Mid-City and Bienvenue in Harahan, an old school deli with over a dozen specialty sandwiches. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
The official afternoon talk show of the city of New Orleans. It's Corey Johnson on the neutral ground.
You can say anything you please about me, but don't say anything bad about Blue Boy.
Down, Blue Boy. Good buddy. He is a good buddy. Corey Johnson back at you on a Thursday afternoon. Yeah, you right. I got a little story for you. Find a dog running around on the street. Got a neighbor that posts a bunch of photos of the dog that I found running around on the street. The owner calls. Oh, gosh, we miss our dog so much. Why did it take 24, 36 hours for you to respond? Okay, that could be, a legitimate excuse. Why aren't there tags on the dog's collar? Just a collar, but no tags. Fido, call this number. Here's an address where Fido lives. Why not any ID tags on the collar if you care so much for your dog? So I bring the dog to my vet. The dog's not chipped, not microchipped. So you really care for your dog? The dog's not neutered, still intact. You really care for your dog? Does that dog get monthly Trifexis heartworm medicine because we're in Mosquitoville, USA, New Orleans, and South Louisiana? It's required in this part of the country. Does that dog get at least an annual, if not 2 yearly visits to an authorized vet, like to get vaccinations and the like? So I don't know. People can claim a lot of things, you know. I have a lot of pride in my home, and that's why I parked the school bus, the Mardi Gras float, the Trans Am from 1976 with no tires or a hood or motor, and it's up on cinder blocks. That's why I park all that in the front yard. I have my boat in the front yard. Looks like Sanford and Son, but I have pride in ownership. I mean, just it's not believable. I really care about the dog. We miss the dog. We care about the dog. It's doesn't have a tag, has a no collar with tag identification, isn't microchipped, and isn't neutered. So I don't know. I don't believe you really care for the dog. Or if you do, you have a strange way of showing you care for the dog. Jeff Dorson joins us from the Humane Society of Louisiana. I don't know how you do it, Jeff. 35 plus years, Louisiana with just belligerent, ignorant people that know better have just, you're not going to tell me to spay or neuter my dog. Just insane people. Then people that help you and assist you. You've got great people that are great volunteers. And then there's some kind of weird, kooky people with like hoarding habits that are, helping out folks or supposedly helping animals. It is a strange world, and you have a tough uphill fight. And, you're a champion for doing it for 35 years in dysfunctional New Orleans and Louisiana, Jeff. You're a hero.
Yeah, don't remind me, because I'm starting to have second thoughts. 35 years into it, probably should have rethought this a couple weeks into it, but it is what it is. But I want to thank you, Corey, because you always give us this nice platform to talk about stuff that is never talked about. Just being nice to animals, doing the right thing if you own them. Everything you said, you got to check them off. So could you repeat the list? It's a great list for every pet owner. Do it one more time, please.
No, it's pretty simple. I mean, this dog did not have an ID. So you have to have a collar on your dog because he might escape. It's a dog. They're tricky. They're escape artists. Might break free of the leash and run away. Might chase something and he's gone. Somebody finds him. They grab the collar. Fred, the dog's name's Fred. And then on the back, 123 Elm Street, 504-555-1212, like a number to call, So right away, problem solved. Second, you microchip your dog. I think it costs like $18. The vet will inject a microchip in your dog so any vet can scan it anywhere in the world. They know it's your dog. Yeah, and third and fourth. Third is you got to have your animal vaccinated. You got to go to the vet at least once a year, ideally twice a year, and get your pet vaccinated, get all the correct shots. And different parishes have different laws and rules. Could be annually, could be every 3 years. You got to do it. And then in New Orleans and in Louisiana, there's no two ways about it. It's not an option. Your dog has to be on like a trifexis, like a heartworm medicine, because mosquitoes and heartworms and dogs are all over the place. And, you can't chain up your dog. It's not an alarm system. You don't leave your dog outside in the heat. Got to have shelter, water, food. Oh, boy, the kindergarten class is going on.
Well, you're doing everybody a favor because nobody gives that checklist, and it really should be required for every pet owner. And you and I both know it's not. And there's hardly any oversight or regulations. Anybody can buy a dog and do what they want pretty much.
Yep.
Tie it to a tree and forget about it. So it is heartbreaking and frustrating. And 35 years seems like not enough because we haven't made that. I hate to admit it. You and I both know I kind of work a lot, but I had not moved the dial very much.
Well, Jeff, you know what it is? It's like me on this show. I've been doing this for 30 plus years. I think overall, when you look at dysfunction in New Orleans and Louisiana, you can say Corey and Jeff haven't moved the dial that much. But when, I don't know about me, but when I look at you and individual cases of dogs and cats, you've saved tens of thousands of animals' lives, thousands and thousands and thousands of all different kind of animals and animals' lives. So you've moved the needle.
Well, thank you for that. So the next governor is going to have to pay attention to us if we make him or her do so. So I beg you, who's ever running for governor and you bump into them or email them or communicate with them, ask them how they feel about pets running around the state and are they willing to invest in better infrastructure? they won't even know what the question is.
No, let's treat animals humanely. All elected officials, we need to notify them and let them know how we feel, and they'll vote that way. That's the only way. Jeff, always a pleasure.
Back at you. Thanks for saving that dog's life.
HumaneLA.org. Go donate
You're
right
on the
now.
Neutral Ground with Corey Johnson. On TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube. On radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM. WSLA New Orleans.
Hi, it's Ken Friend from Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business. Come see us over on Maple Street in Uptown.
Friend & Company Fine Jewelers Breitling time, 5 p.m.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Ooh, Lord Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Lord Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
5 generations, family owned and operated. Leidenheimer French bread.
Ford F-150, #1 seller in America. What about in the USA? Let's see, what about in the world? Who sells more trucks than Ford? Nobody. It's because the Lamarck team is the real team. All that makes it happen is one goal. Everybody having a great experience at Lamarck Ford. We became #1 for a reason, because we're good. And we need to prove it every day, every deal, all the time.
Hi, this is Joey Helm. My dad, Bunky Helm, had a vision of a locally family-owned store serving the residential and commercial paint needs of New Orleans. I think Dad would be proud of today's Helm Paint and Decorating, and here's why. We have the best technical staff in the business, providing the best color matching service in Southeast Louisiana. Perfect matching for any color and any brand. And we'll save your colors so you don't have to save those old cans. Helm Paint offers free 2-hour delivery. Our in-store decorators will assist you on deciding what color and type of paint to best showcase your home. But most importantly, as your local independent Benjamin Moore dealer, our products provide the greatest value in the paint industry. Superior coverage, and Benjamin Moore paint simply covers better and lasts longer. New Orleans is a city of vibrant color, and no one else provides the paints of New Orleans like Helm Paint and Decorating. Visit any of our 6 locations or online at helmpaint.com.
Helm Paint, let us do you right. Helm Paint and Supply.
The Neutral Ground with Corey Johnson.
Susan Spicer joining us on the program.
Even when they presented me the award, the people that I look up to the most, Frank was there and Donald Link was there. It does cause you to reflect back and think about your whole career.
Maybe the Celebrant Award says that to you, like I've arrived.
It certainly is kind of the ultimate honor when it comes to cooking and hospitality in New Orleans and the world.
New Orleans style talk gumbo, served daily.
Doesn't get much better than that, huh?
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot.
for us, it's really relationships. And if you care about the relationship, you're going to do the right thing for the customer all the time. When we're in design process of a custom made piece, I have a test that says, if I wouldn't give this to my wife, I think we should pass and start over. If it's not perfect, it's going back to the shop. We're going to start all the way over. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
Rouse's, New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's has the only full-service grocery stores both in the French Quarter on Royal Street and in the CBD on Baronne in the old Sewell Cadillac building. The Rouse's on the river, Tchoupitoulas at Napoleon, is in a century-old warehouse. And uptown on Ferret at the corner of Valence is Rouse's all-new boutique store. With 7 locations in Orleans Parish, Rouse's is New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's Markets. Taste like home.
On November 13th, Felix Unger was asked to remove himself from his place of residence. That request came from his wife. Deep down, he knew she was right.
Probably so.
But he also knew that someday he would return to her.
Incorrect.
With nowhere else to go, he appeared at the home of his friend, Oscar Madison.
Bad move.
Several years earlier, Madison's wife had thrown him out, requesting that he never return. Can 2 divorced men share an apartment without driving each other crazy?
This is New Orleans.
Yeah, you right. Corey Johnson back at you. The neutral ground till 6 o'clock. Thanks for finding us. Oh, so fine. 93.9 FM. Oh, so fine. 93.9 FM. CoreyTalks.com, live streaming, CoreyTalks.com. We're on YouTube right now. Live on YouTube, The Neutral Ground with Corey Johnson. Click to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Hey, we're on TV till 5:30 all over Louisiana. Cox Channel 4, that's Your View, Louisiana. 4 to 5:30 weekdays, New Orleans, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and beyond. You Charter Television subscribers, a.k.a. Spectrum. Spectrum Channel 333, weekdays 4 to 5:30. Slidell, Covington, Mandeville, that's Trey Yen country. Hammond, Houma, Thibodaux, Opelousas, all over the state. Yeah, you right. Thursday afternoon, 96 feels like $1.06. 96 feels like 106. Ouch. The summer heat continues, and we're right in the middle of it. We're right in the middle, about 10 weeks in, about 10 weeks to go. Half of July, June, May, in the books. Half of July, August, September, still to come. I'm not trying to bum you out. You want to know the worst part about it is? School cranks up for you parents in anywhere from 3-4 weeks from now to the next 4, 5, 6 weeks from now. No, it just means a lot more traffic on the road, a lot more things to do. And that heat is still rolling in August and September. Pretty much full bore like it is right now. Yeah, stay hydrated. Lots of water, H2O, agua. It's 96 feels like $1.06 in Metro New Orleans. Ouch. Hey, if you missed the last hour, speaking of ouch, you missed a lot. Ronal Serpas, former NOPD chief, the number 2 under Richard Pennington, former state police chief in Washington, former Nashville police chief. He joined us on the program. The fix is in. Candidates around the country knew that this mayor already had made her selection. Michelle Woodfork. And Serpas was like, don't even want to bring up Michelle Woodfork by name. He's like, it's not her fault. I mean, how do you blame her? She's just applying for the gig. But it's the mayor with the fix being in. He said an area of New Orleans size, 250,000 plus, would get a minimum of 100 candidates, 100 applicants. We got 33. We got 33, a small percentage of what we should have received. Now, I talked about it before I had Ronal Serpas on, opening up the 4 o'clock hour. New Orleans is broken. It's dysfunctional, just like our state, Louisiana. Broken and dysfunctional. We have to do it better than everyone else. We have to be above the fray. We have to be really clear of any sign of impropriety. We have to really do it right because we have a bad reputation. So when that's our rep, and then any police chief worth his salt looks into it, does just the slightest bit of research, and you have Ronal Serpas saying, the fix is in, Michelle Woodfork was the choice. That's the vibe going around the country. So New Orleans is already like an iffy place for a police chief candidate. Throw in that the fix is in, that's the word. And the mayor wants that to be the word. She probably wanted to restrict good candidates coming in because she had her pick. No, and it's a shame for Michelle Woodfork because she might be the best candidate, but we'll never know because the fix is in. She'd be the first female police chief. You get that lanyap, that gravy. First openly gay police chief. You get that lanyap, that gravy. Oh, that's irrelevant in the real thing. We need crime solved. But you get a crime solver that's female and gay. Way more power to you. A lot gravy lanyap. Really moving forward. Whatever. We hire the best. Just not a good situation. Really good interview with Ronal Serpas in the 4 o'clock hour, about 15 minutes or so. You'll want to check it out. Very telling. And then these 6 semifinalists, I believe Channel 6 saying 4 of them interviewed today. 2 more will be interviewed tomorrow. Reportedly, that list of 6 will be whittled down to 2 or 3, given to the mayor. She'll make a choice, and then the council will vote Michelle Woodfork in or not as chief. Instead of 100+ applicants, 33. And the mayor having her agenda, having her candidate. The Office of Inspector General sending a letter to the New Orleans City Council saying, okay, guys, this Pontalba thing, you need to tighten up what defines an overnight stay, and you need to put the apartment on the market and rent it out. It's rented out. The city pulls $36,000 and the mayor can't stay there. No, it's a benefit. The OIG was even suggesting that this benefit isn't being acknowledged and the mayor needs to pay taxes on it. No overnight stays, no financial benefit, no freebies. No, the OIG wrote a letter to the city council, all 7 city council members, imploring them. No overnight stays. Define that, make it clear, and rent the apartment out. Wow, the Seabrook Bridge has reopened. It's been closed for the last couple of months. Anybody that makes that commute via Leon C. Simon in between, say, the east and the lakefront area, going to SUNO or UNO or the FBI or anything out in that direction. You could be going towards, West End and even Metairie by Bucktown, that area, and taking the lakefront to get there. Seabrook Bridge on Leon C. Simon has been down for the last couple of months since May. And finally reopened. 1 lane. Repairs will continue, but 1 lane open in each direction. So that's got to be welcome news to folks the only place you can go is what? The next bridge over is the I-10 high rise. What a nightmare. You know what is mind-blowing to me, mind-boggling to me? It's one of the greatest achievements in the history of mankind, and we kind of underappreciate it, even here in America, where we did it 54 years ago today. I mean, this says it all. Go to the websites of like CBS News, USA Today, NBC, ABC, Fox News, CNN, MSNBC, you name the outlet. Mainstream news, not so mainstream. No one's mentioning Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, man landing on the moon, returning safely. The moon's like 290,000 miles away. 290,000 miles away. A 3-stage rocket to get us out of Earth's atmosphere into outer space and then to go to the moon, land on the surface, get out of the lunar module, tool around on the moon, get back in the lunar module, bring back a bunch of lunar rocks and soil samples, and fly back to Earth and land in the ocean safely? Are you kidding me? Even in 2023, it's mind-blowing. And this was done in the late 60s. 54 years ago today, Neil Armstrong and the boys, one of mankind's greatest achievements, and it is overlooked, underappreciated, still to this day. You think there'd be so many more books and movies and miniseries and television series about it. And I know there are some. I'm not saying they don't exist, but I'm just kind of in shock. It's one of mankind's greatest achievements. It is just intricate and detailed and seemed way ahead of its time in the 60s, and we pulled it off numerous times. And I don't know, today's the 54-year anniversary, and it's not really talked about much. That's crazy to me. Crazy. You know what's a little crazy? 6 lamb chops, 2 Middle Eastern sides, 20-something bucks. The best lamb chop deal maybe in America. Lebanon's Cafe, Carrollton at Jeanette and Uptown, 6 lamb chops, 2 Middle Eastern sides, 20-something bucks. Lamb chops tonight, Lebanon's Cafe.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, insagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, insagency.com.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
In New Orleans, we don't eat to live. We live to eat.
More is better.
Scott Craig of Katie's.
That is our slogan. More is better at Katie's. It means more of everything. Not just more food, more smiles, more friendship, more love, more. When you do something, you have to do it right. You know, it's all about more, and it's all more of the good things.
Get more at Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City.
Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Scandia. Perfect for any window, including large frames, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. American-made SL300 shutters are available in many colors to match your personal decor. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore led us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
When a young man comes in and they walk into our store, and you can see they're a little intimidated. Last week, I saw the young man. I said, "Hey, what can I do to give you a hand?" And he said, "Well, I'm here for an engagement ring, but I don't think I'm in the right place." So I got him to my desk, and within an hour, he had purchased an engagement ring, had spent $1,000, and he was treated like he spent a lot more, and I'm sure we have a customer for life. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
There's a Middle Eastern restaurant that's less than 5 minutes from where Causeway and River Road meet. Lebanon's Cafe. Convenient to Old Metairie and Old Jefferson. Carrollton at Jeanette on the streetcar line. Lebanon's Cafe.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot. Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
Served in New Orleans' finest restaurants, Leidenheimer French bread.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com. Fausto's Italian Bistro on Veterans Boulevard, where the brothers Fausto and Roland are serving some of the city's finest Sicilian and Italian cuisine. From New Orleans' first family of Sicilian and Italian cooking, Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com. I guess I'm going to have to answer these $50 Woodhouse Day Spa trivia questions, these holdover questions that have yet to be answered. 50 big bucks at the Woodhouse can be yours if you have the answer to any of these questions. I'm going to give the answer to all of them before we end the show at 6 today. If you have an answer to our question, Rouse's Markets phone lines are open, 766-9480, 766-9480. Rouse's Markets phone lines are open. Longest bridge over water continuously in the world. Longest bridge over water continuously in the world. Give me the answer to that. I got 50 big bucks for you. Good at one of the 5 area Woodhouse Day Spa locations. Mid-City, New Orleans, Metairie near North Kenner, Mandeville, Slidell, Baton Rouge. We're not done yet. Which pro baseball team invented the tarp? Here's the hint. I didn't say which major league team. Might be a major league team. Which pro baseball team invented the tarp? Give me the answer to that. I got 50 big bucks for you at the Woodhouse Day Spa. Fastest speed indoors for a car, indoors, over 102 miles an hour. Just a few years ago, an electric Porsche. Porsche of Germany was very, just like typical Germans, very detailed in their search for the correct building to try to set this indoor car speed record. 102 miles an hour, an electric Porsche Taycan. Where did that take place? Corey Johnson with you. 50 big bucks at the Woodhouse Day Spa can be yours. Hey, here's a little hint, and I don't know how good of a hint it is because I'm only saying like 90+% of the time. All 3 could go in the 10% category, but I'd say 95+% of the time. The trivia's local usually, like New Orleans, Louisiana, at worst sort of regional. But sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's not. So maybe I'm just giving out information that's just to steer you in the wrong direction. 50 big bucks at the Woodhouse Day Spa can be yours. 766-9480. 766-9480. Longest bridge in the world over water continuously. 766-9480. 766-9480. Which pro baseball team invented the tarp? 766-9480. Fastest speed indoor for a car, 102 miles an hour, an electric Porsche. Where was the building that this 102 miles an hour took place, this world record? 766-9480. You got answers? I got 50 big bucks for you. Good at the Woodhouse Day Spa. Ronal Serpas, former NOPD chief, joined us last hour to talk about this chief search. He just said a lot of great points, had a lot of great points. A city of 250,000. You would have
maybe a few hundred applicants for the job. There's, I forgot the number. He said 44,000 police chiefs or something crazy. Tens of thousands. So when a job in a market like New Orleans, 250,000 plus people, you'd have a few hundred candidates, at least 100 applicants. We had 33. He said, agreed with me about our rep being bad. We got to do it above, board, clear of any impropriety. The word is on the street around the country that the fix is in, that the mayor has already made the selection. What we know about Michelle Woodfork, that's getting out all around the country. So it's really a trio of things. New Orleans bad rep, living up to that rep like the fix is already in. And then you're talking about 2023 and people moving, and you're going to go to a city where you're connected to the mayor that has 3 years left on her term. So those three things, the term limits, the rep of the city, living up to the rep, we get 33 applicants. Let's head to the capital city, Baton Rouge. You can check us out in Baton Rouge every day on 600 AM on Cox Channel 4 television. How you doing, Lewis?
Hey, how's it going?
Good, man. What's happening in Tiger Town?
Oh, it's hot.
Fleur-de-lis Pizza never came back online, huh?
No, that building is, I don't know if they're going to demolish it or not. It needs a lot of work.
No, I know that, but they stopped serving pizza about 6 months ago. It's still closed, huh?
Yeah, it's closed. The building's for sale. That's all I really know. I don't think it's coming back.
That sucks. No, that building needs a lot of work. It's Fleur-de-lis Pizza's home. They know how to operate out of it. No one's going to just buy that and tomorrow open a restaurant again. Someone might buy it and make it Fleur-de-lis Pizza again, I guess, but you're right. Anybody else, it's probably a teardown, Lewis. I remember it's like Spanish stucco. It looked a little pink building. It's probably from, if I had to guess, the 30s.
Oh, it's got to be the 30s or 40s. I'm not exactly sure, but I grew up on that pizza.
Me too. Not grew up on it, but my college days. Nothing like a Fleur-de-lis pizza, the rectangular pizza, picking it up from the window with the cold barks in the bottle. Or I like a Louis burger too. I still love that Louis hamburger and the hash browns, Lewis.
Yeah, oh yeah. I love it too much myself.
But they I'm not blaming Jimmy. He can't get the workers, but I loved it when they went from Chime Street to West State because it became 24 hours. And this is like in the 80s. And then they moved to that Wendy's and remained 24 hours. But now, post Ida, I guess, I think they shut down about 3 or 4 in the afternoon.
Yeah, it's like 2:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. They close now.
Which is their original back on Chime Street when they seated 8 people across the front bar and maybe 2 in each window and cut the potato when you ordered the hash brown, pulled a blob of meat off of a pile of meat and handmade your burger right in front of you. That was breakfast and lunch only. So they're kind of gone full circle, Lewis.
Yeah. They're still over there though.
Yep. And it's a great burger and Jimmy's a nice guy.
Yeah. Love everybody over there.
Yep. Anyway, what's on your mind, Lewis?
I think I got your answer for the longest bridge.
The longest bridge over water continuously.
It's got to be Lake Pontchartrain, the causeway.
Why do you say it has to be? What about that bridge in China?
Oh, I don't know about that bridge in China. I don't know.
Well, that's good you don't know, because that bridge in China is longer, but it lands like on an island and then goes back over water. So continuously, the Lake Pontchartrain Causeway is number one. I was trying to throw people off with the continuous thing. It didn't throw you off, Lewis. You are correct.
Yeah, you're right.
Ding, ding, ding.
Well,
What do we have for
I've always heard it's the longest.
Yep. Got a $50.
Engineers.
What's that?
I come from a family of engineers. So they always, and it's the longest bridge.
Can you believe in 1956 they built that original span in 18 months?
Wow. Couldn't do that today.
No way. No way. And it was the one reason it was new construction, that prefab concrete, I guess, the tube pilings and the bridge decking all built. So they're just like, it's like Lego, you know? They're not putting the metal wire, the rebarb and, pouring concrete and smoothing it out over the water, I guess, like they had to in the past.
Right.
They would just like Lego. They'd drop the pilings, they'd add decks, drop pilings, add decks. I mean, you build a 24-mile bridge in 18 months. I mean, I'm just LSU boy, Lewis. You're doing about what? A mile and a half or so, a mile and a quarter every month? I mean,
right.
Geez and Pete's. They're just building. I mean, they're like, that's at a rate where you're like, every day I notice something different. That's incredible.
Yeah. So yeah, we definitely did it right back then. I don't know what they're going to do.
No, who knows now? I don't see.
The mess in Baton Rouge with these bridges. I don't know what they're doing here in Baton Rouge.
Now, Lewis, this is it's so nauseating. It's like Baton Rouge not only needs another Mississippi River bridge, they need to build that interstate loop, and they need to add lanes to the existing Mississippi River bridge. That bottleneck in Port Allen for folks every day coming into BR, that's just unacceptable. I mean, I don't get it. I really don't. We sit there
I don't know what to do.
I don't know.
Then you got the Atchafalaya Basin too. What are you going to do with that? That should be another bridge.
Oh, you're talking about the heading into Lafayette?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got the speed limit restrictions and all that on it. No, you're right. They need another bridge there. You're so right about that. But the Mississippi River, they need to widen the existing bridge in Baton Rouge. I don't know, go on the outside of the structure, double deck it through by Dalrymple, Acadian Thruway. That is a traffic nightmare. You have to double deck it, I guess, Lewis. I don't know what you do there.
I have no clue. I have no clue what they do. And the good thing is, the bad thing is that no one around here seems to know either, especially our wonderful legislature.
No, those 105 jokers in the House, those 39 senators, they just spin their wheels each and every session. That special session was an embarrassment. Hey, Lewis, before I tighten you up with that $50 Woodhouse Day Spa gift certificate, what's the vibe in Tiger Town? I mean, win the ladies' national title, Kim Mulkey. Jay Johnson, baseball, wins the national title. All this year two stuff. Brian Kelly, miraculous turnaround, 10 wins from, you had 11 the previous 2 years combined. Football's back. What's the vibe up there? It's got to be incredibly positive about football and just highly anticipated.
Well, it seems to not be worried about Alabama right now. It seems to be winning the whole thing. So
isn't that nice?
Yeah.
Kelly made a good point at media days about that. Hey, we beat Alabama. Don't have to make it fantasy or beat them. Not at Georgia and Alabama's level yet, but that's where we want to be. Where we just reload every year. We're in title contention every year. I love what Kelly's saying.
Yeah, we don't have to storm the field when we win. We're just used to winning. So.
Yep. Hey, hang on. All right, Lewis?
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. That's Lewis in Baton Rouge, Capital City, Red Stick, Tiger Town, picking up $50 big bucks at the Woodhouse Day Spa. And Lewis, I'm assuming, because he's in BR, he'll hit the Baton Rouge Woodhouse Day Spa, which is right by the Mall of Louisiana, one of the 5 area Woodhouse Day Spa locations. I thought that was an easy one. But, I knew some folks, but Lewis didn't. I guess his ignorance of the not knowing about the bridge in China helped him. But, longest bridge over water in the world, continuously still the Lake Pontchartrain Causeway, although I would argue that. And here's my argument, not the Chinese bridge. I'm talking about I guess folks would go, Corey, it's 3 different interstates. Each bridge was built at a different time, but you could argue it's one bridge. You are over bridging continuously over water for about 30 something miles. My guess would be about 35 miles. I'm talking about getting on I-310 in St. Rose, south of Airline Highway. Getting on the I-310, going northbound on I-310 at St. Rose, Louisiana. I-310 north to I-10 west. So you're coming up I-310. Instead of going into Kenner, you're getting on the I-10 going west to Laplace. You continue to be overbridging. Right before you get to Laplace, you head north on I-55 north. And then you come down into basically right outside of Ponchatoula, south of Ponchatoula. St. Rose to Ponchatoula. It is over water continuously. It's about 35 miles of bridging. Granted, it's I-310 to I-10 to I-55. But it's all one bridge. Arguably, it's all over water. You're not exiting or entering. You can, but you can also drive straight for about 35 miles on one bridge. St. Rose, I-310 north to I-10 west to Laplace to I-55 north to Ponchatoula. About 35 miles, one bridge over water, right? I don't know. That would be my argument. Anyway. 50 big bucks at the Woodhouse, still available. Which pro baseball team invented the tarp like over a century ago? World's speed record indoors for a car. A Porsche Taycan did it. 102 miles an hour just a few years ago. Porsche was very selective about which building in the world they could reach or achieve this speed record. Give me the answer to that building, and I've got 50 big bucks for you. Did I mention local? I try to keep the questions local sometimes, or is that just a trick to throw you off? It wasn't a trick for longest bridge in the world, was it? Boy, electric vehicles, instant torque, no lull, no. You remember old turbo lag? I mean, they fixed that. But there's, lag to wait till you get to that, peak RPM range to get peak horsepower, peak torque, peak acceleration. Electric vehicles, instantaneous peak torque. Always available. One speed, full bore torque. Electric vehicles are insanely fast. It can be the lamest electric vehicle available, and that 0 to 60 time is impressive. And the cars that are really fast, like the Tesla, Mercedes, BMW, Audi, like 0 to 60 times in like motorcycle speed, like 2.5 seconds. Just insane. So Porsche knew with the instant torque, an electric vehicle over a, internal combustion engine vehicle could set an indoor speed record. So they thought about it. Which building in the world would be best suited for this? Which building in the world? Available and best suited. Give me the answer. I got 50 big bucks for you at the Woodhouse Day Spa. It's hot out there, but you can knock out your paint project. Your crew can. Helm Paint and Decorating is where you get the supplies, where you get the paint. High-quality Benjamin Moore paint, the inventors of color paint. I'll tell you something about Benjamin Moore. I just painted my house. I used a lifetime warranty paint from Benjamin Moore. They got a few to choose from. I used Regal Select. All paint outside of Benjamin Moore. Think about a balloon, like a red balloon. And inside the red balloon is air. Go to the smallest paint molecule. It's like the skin of a balloon. This is why paint fades, chips. Old school paint does. Not really paint anymore. But this Benjamin Moore product never will because of what I'm about to tell you. Where all paint, the smallest paint molecule, think like a balloon, the red color, let's say a red balloon, the inside air is clear. At Benjamin Moore, the red balloon skin is red and the inside air in the balloon is red. The entire molecule is the color of the paint, not just the outside skin of the smallest paint molecule. All other paint is just the smallest molecule. The outside skin is the paint color. And inside that smallest molecule is clear. Not with Benjamin Moore paint. The smallest molecule, the skin is the color of the paint you requested, and so is the inside of the molecule. That's why Benjamin Moore paint's the best. Lifetime warranty. You'll never, ever paint again. Pennies on the dollar compared to the world's most expensive home painting company. That's these so-called coating companies. Just a ripoff, an unnecessary product that's hyper expensive. You want to know why it's hyper expensive? Not only because it is, just a fact. On the commercial, when they say a lot more affordable than you think, that's code for it's expensive. That's what that means. Don't go with some so-called coating. Go with the pros. Helm Paint and Decorating, 7 locations in Metro New Orleans, plus free 2-hour delivery anywhere in the Metro New Orleans area. So you can keep working. Helm Paint and Decorating.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes, a magazine as unique as you.
From the owners of Katie's in Mid-City and Bienvenue in Harahan, an old school deli with over a dozen specialty sandwiches. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria.
For us, it's really relationships. And if you care about the relationship, you're going to do the right thing for the customer all the time. When we're in design process of a custom-made piece, I have a test that says, if I wouldn't give this to my wife, I think we should pass and start over. If it's not perfect, it's going back to the shop. We're going to start all the way over. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
Hi, this is Joey Helm. My dad, Bunky Helm, had a vision of a locally family-owned store serving the residential and commercial paint needs of New Orleans. I think Dad would be proud of today's Helm Paint and Decorating, and here's why. We have the best technical staff in the business, providing the best color matching service in Southeast Louisiana. Perfect matching for any color and any brand. And we'll save your colors so you don't have to save those old cans. Helm Paint offers free 2-hour delivery. Our in-store decorators will assist you on deciding what color and type of paint to best showcase your home. But most importantly, as your local independent Benjamin Moore dealer, our products provide the greatest value in the paint industry. Superior coverage, and Benjamin Moore paint simply covers better and lasts longer. New Orleans is a city of vibrant color, and no one else provides the paints of New Orleans like Helm Paint and Decorating. Visit any of our 6 locations or online at helmpaint.com.
Help paint, let us do you right. Help paint and supply.
Rouse's, New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's has the only full-service grocery stores both in the French Quarter on Royal Street and in the CBD on Baronne in the old Sewell Cadillac building. The Rouse's on the river, Tchoupitoulas at Napoleon, is in a century-old warehouse. And uptown on Ferret at the corner of Valence is Rouse's all-new boutique store. With 7 locations in Orleans Parish, Rouse's is New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's Markets. Taste like home.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, it's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof, now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anywhere. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
For Leidenheimer Baking Company, producing the perfect French bread is more than a vocation. It's a sacred mission. And for 5 generations, they've used the same time-honored process, baking their signature loaf with its crisp crust and delicate center, unique and still good to the last crumb. From the finest French Quarter restaurants to your local po' boy shop, for over 125 years, New Orleans' own Leidenheimer.
Fausto's Italian Bistro on Veterans Boulevard, where the brothers Fausto and Roland are serving some of the city's finest Sicilian and Italian cuisine. From New Orleans' first family of Sicilian and Italian cooking, Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets.
Every day, this program on radio, television, YouTube, live streaming, KoreTalks.com. Brought to you by the Lamarck Automotive Complex in Canberra. Lamarck Ford, the big store, nearly 50 years. Number 1 Ford dealership in the region. How about Lamarck Lincoln? In just a few short years, number 1 Lincoln dealership in Louisiana. You think Ronnie Lamarck, after investing $50+ million, real money, all brand new, state-of-the-art, 15+ acres, hundreds of vehicles. You think Ronnie Lamarck, after investing $50+ million in the brand new Lamarck Automotive Complex on the car corner of Williams Boulevard and I-10, right on the corner, right on the price, you think he'd be done? But Ronnie Lamarck at 70-something is Ronnie Lamarck at like 30-something. Most people at 30-something. Continues to move down the field, drive the ball. Can't stop. The legendary local Ford truck and SUV dealership for decades, Crescent City Ford on Jefferson Highway, now under the Lamarck umbrella. Truly bridging the gap. Got you covered out by the lake, got you covered out by the river in Elmwood, Harahan. The Lamarck Automotive Complex, state-of-the-art. And now Lamarck Crescent City Ford, state-of-the-art. Convenience. Plus, both are full-service Ford dealerships. Get your sales, service, everything you need. And boy, you business owners, trucks, vans, any kind of commercial vehicle. Have you seen the inventory, what they've got in stock right now at Crescent City Ford in Elmwood on Jefferson Highway? Every day, this program brought to you by the Lamarck Automotive Complex in Kenner, and now Lamarck Crescent City Ford on Jefferson Highway. Thursday afternoon, 5 o'clock power hour. Yeah, you right. Corey Johnson with you. Ronal Serpas joined us last hour in the 4 o'clock hour talking about this police chief search. You know, he said really great points. First off, the fix is in. Everyone knows the fix is in. That's the word on the street with police, that this mayor already has her choice, Michelle Woodfork. Ronal Serpas said, any city of 250,000 plus, like New Orleans, is going to have a few hundred applicants for the police chief job, at least north of 100. New Orleans got 33 applicants, like police staying away, and probably three major reasons. One, New Orleans' reputation. Two, folks hearing about Michelle Woodfork and the fix is already in, so living up to that reputation. And third, and this is a pretty important point, the mayor is term limited. So that chief might feel that they are connected, regardless of their contract or not, to the mayor's term. A new mayor will come in and want to appoint another chief. So those are all legitimate concerns. New Orleans' reputation, the first one, if you go above, board and, just make it clear and transparent and obvious that this is a objective search trying to get the best and brightest, that might diffuse a little of New Orleans and its bad reputation. Hey, they're trying to jettison that. Look how they're doing this search. I'm a police chief. I see how they're doing it. It is transparent. It's real. I'm going to apply for that gig. It's a new Orleans. Instead, hearing the fix is in, that Michelle Woodfork's the choice of the mayor and the mayor's pushing that, and that's going to happen. Boy, New Orleans' rep, it isn't fixed. This just shows their rep is right. I'm running from that. I'm pulling a Jesse Owens. I'm going in the opposite direction of that job, applying for that gig. And the term limit thing is baggage, so just not a good situation. Ronal Serpas making a brilliant point. Should have been north of 100 applicants. We get 33. 33. No, and then the 6 they whittle it down to, just reading the local news, it could be NOLA.com 46826. They're showing you the 6 candidates. Like 4 or 5 of them have like some severe baggage. Don't have just like a pretty clean resume. One shot somebody and killed him off duty. It's like, this is the best we can do? No, I think the other candidates are just like, okay, there's a lot of legitimate candidates that are probably better than me, that probably have a better resume, that are running clear of this job. This job pays 300-something grand. I'll triple, quadruple my salary. Let me apply for this New Orleans police chief gig when I'm probably not the ultimate candidate, but the ultimate candidates aren't in it. And maybe I can, impress, and the fix is in gimmick. Maybe I can overcome it. And if I don't, I can still say I'm one of 6 semifinalists. I was a semifinalist for the New Orleans gig when I applied for another police chief gig. So I don't know. That's maybe why we got the ones we got. Hey, the Seabrook Bridge has reopened on Leon C. Simon, 1 lane in each direction. Sure, for you SUNO, UNO, FBI, lakefront folks, that's a big sigh of relief. It was one of the greatest achievements in the history of mankind. Hard to top this. Mind-blowing. And we did it, America. And it is underappreciated, under-discussed, under-talked about. I think almost neglected, like an afterthought. And it's just, it blows my mind when I think about how incredible the achievement was. They did it in the 60s, just way ahead of time. Talking about the lunar landing, bringing man to the moon and bringing it back safely. 54 years ago today, Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin landed on the moon. And Neil Armstrong, and then about 10, 12 minutes later, Buzz Aldrin joined him on the surface of the moon. Are you kidding me? And then a few days later, they're landing in the ocean alive, and Buzz Aldrin's alive to this day. Collins, the astronaut, that would suck. You go all the way to the moon, and you can't go to the moon. You have to stay in the module orbiting the moon. I want to go to the moon. We're right there. I can touch it. I want some cheese. He passed away. Neil Armstrong passed away. Buzz Aldrin's still alive, still active on social media. Friggin' hero. Like him or not, like his political views, his takes, whatever. Friggin' American hero. Incredible. No, 54 years ago today, one of mankind's greatest achievements, landing on the moon. Hey, Friend and Company Fine Jewelers, speaking of the moon, how old's the moon? Billions of years old. Like real diamonds, natural diamonds. What else can you purchase on Earth as a human being that's 1 billion plus years old that you can purchase? That's why diamonds are rare. That's why diamonds appreciate in value, because they're 1 billion plus years old. Now, China flooding the market with lab-created 3-week-old man-made diamonds that depreciate in value. Guys, this is a once-in-a-lifetime special purchase for her. Make it real natural diamonds. Make it Friend and Company Fine Jewelers. Friend and Company Fine Jewelers on Maple Street in between Broadway and Carrollton. Real natural diamonds. Friend and Company Fine Jewelers on Maple Street.
Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Scandia. Perfect for any window, including large frames, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. American-made SL300 shutters are available in many colors to match your personal decor. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore led us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
It's time to relax. The Woodhouse Day Spa, Metro New Orleans' premier day spa experience, now with 5 area locations. For a day of relaxation or maybe just a quick 1-hour getaway, the Metro area's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa. And now 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and our newest location in Mandeville. The Woodhouse Day Spa, woodhousespas.com.
Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
Since 1896, a true taste of New Orleans. Leidenheimer French bread. Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralox, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralox technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralox is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Being a part of people's lives, from an engagement ring to a wedding band. Before you know it, the wedding day is here and groom and bride are exchanging gifts on that day. And not too long after that, there's baby gifts to have. And I just enjoy being part of other people's family, saying, Mr. Friend did my engagement ring and he did my mom and dad's engagement ring. My name is Ken Friend of Friend and Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com. Hey, on the Causeway Bridge right now, I got Trey Yen's phone number, 626-4476. You know the 985 area code, of course. 626-4476. You're on the Causeway right now? Fire in a to-go order at Trey Yen.
626-4476. Curbside delivery. You don't even leave the vehicle. Trey Yen to-go order. Mom, dad, the kids, everyone's happy. Get a big to-go order from Trey Yen. Or you North Shore folks, you know where it's at. Dine in tonight at the foot of the causeway in Mandeville. South Shore, 25 short minutes from Lakeside Mall to the parking lot at Trey Yen. Door to door. What's that, Blue Boy? It's not Chinese food. What is it then, buddy? Chinese what? Chinese cuisine. You're right on the money, Blue Boy. Trey Yen is Chinese cuisine. Hey, thanks for joining us. Fantasy Friday, 4 p.m. mañana.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson on TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube, on radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
Hi, it's Ken Friend from Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business. Come see us over on Maple Street in Uptown.
Friend & Company Fine Jewelers, Breitling time, 6 p.m.